Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. All right. So, hey, everybody, welcome to the show. That's Peculiar. I'm Nathan,
I'm Andra.
and I guess let's get into it. I mean, what's new with you, Andra?
Oh, the weather in Sonora has done a big shift to Northern California. Today we got our first day of 80 degrees.
Oh,
It's nice.
it's nice. I wish it was 80 degrees here.
Yeah, we have our 70s coming up. What is it there?
It's been over 100 degrees for like 60 straight days.
Not any better in Texas, so
Yeah, but it's more humid in Texas.
yeah, I like humidity
So
too.
I like being in Phoenix. I'm glad I moved here. And that's actually what's new, as I recently just moved to Phoenix. So I live here full time.
Yeah, I'm super stoked that you just said that you like it
Why?
because I don't want you to go back to Texas.
Well, that could happen in the future, but I guess we'll find out later.
I hate Texas.
I'm not in a
I'm never
hurry
going back.
I'm not in a hurry to go anywhere. I'm happy where I am. I'm with Ross and the dog, and everything's good.
You sh you should probably cut that I hate Texas if we want any Texas people to ever listen to us.
How about caveat? Not Texas isn't for everybody anyway.
It's not for me, but it's for somebody, and I know very cool people that live there. So, what else is new? William is spinning.
Oh,
I'm trying to
great,
scale up my walls.
great.
Yeah,
Love when they can
very
do that.
exciting. The
Mm.
babies. He learned how to crawl, the bear crawl, and then
Oh,
he
that
just
creepy baby
basically
crawl.
ran.
Oh yeah. So her baby William, he would crawl not on his hands and knees. He would crawl on his hands and his feet.
Yeah, no knees involved.
Weird.
Yeah, he is
Uh,
the strongest baby calves alive.
well, uh, all right. Well, let's get into what are we talking about today?
Okay, today we are close to our hometown, with a creature that resembles many other legendary creatures. We are going to be talking about the Tahoe Tessie.
Oh, that's a creature.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, I thought it was like a person.
Tessie?
Well, yeah, like a name. Like, oh, this is like a Tessie.
Oh no, it's a creature.
Oh, and it's in Tahoe. I
All right,
say
I'll tell
it.
you about it. The Tahoe Tessie is an alleged sea monster that lives in the lake, Tahoe air, like in the lake. The creature is said to live under the cave rock, which is a local natural formation. It's said to be made by like volcanoes, and it's common. It's like I don't know it personally, but people in the area, it seems like a very known cave rock formation.
So is there supposed to be like more than one, or is it like Loch Ness Monster? There's one, and
Yeah,
there's
so
only.
the legend comes from Lake Tahoe, which is located in both California and Nevada. The Tahoe Tessie is said to be similar to the Loch Ness Monster of Scotland in both looks and reported sightings. So if you Google Tahoe Tessie, you will find different images with either big giant watermarks or like there's something underneath the water. Or you see like photos that it looks like something is coming out of the water a little bit, which these images can be fabricated. And I definitely think some are, but the sightings of the Tahoe Tessie date back way before that would have ever been possible.
Like when?
Sightings. The first one that I know of was in the early 19th century.
Early 19th century, so like 1800 something.
Right.
Do we know it?
Yeah,
Do you have a date?
I have it in here. I scroll down to it.
So Tahoe Tessie is supposed to be. Is it like the? Are they comparing it to the Loch Ness Monster? Like shape, size,
Right.
long neck?
And look,
Okay.
yeah, and the looks as well. Um, it's basically very similar. some people have also, it's in here somewhere, but some people have also thought that the Loch Ness Monster is what like started the Tahoe Tessie. But when we get into it, there's no possibility that that is true.
Like someone was like, oh, we could just make this up for Tahoe.
Right. But it's the Tahoe Tessie dates back way before Europeans were in America.
Okay,
Yeah.
tell me more. Tell me more.
So, um, some information on Lake Tahoe. We know it, but for anybody else, Tahoe is a large freshwater lake. It is known for fishing, fly fishing, kayaking, and more. The lake's depth is around 1,645 feet, just depth.
Oh, I didn't
Um,
realize it was that deep.
me either. It is known as the second deepest lake in the United States.
Ugh.
Crater Lake is the first.
Ugh.
Yeah, like suddenly all the times I've gone swimming in there, I'm like, oh, I thought my feet just couldn't touch. I didn't realize there was a gaping hole in the ground.
Like tasselophobia kicks in
Yeah,
now that I
suddenly
know.
I won't be in there anymore.
I don't think
Um,
I don't want to go anymore.
yeah, like maybe kayaking, maybe. Um, Lake Tahoe is home to many aquatic animals, turtles, beavers, fish, etc. The origin of the Tahoe Tessie has been traced back to Native Americans, tribes, pre-European settlers. Um, this is super important to note, and like we were talking about, because people believe the legend, the Tahoe Tessie, is a copy of the Loch Ness Monster.
Okay.
But there's not a way for that to be possible because there weren't computers, phones, or like any technology at this time. Like European settlers weren't even here. And even if they came here and told the story of the Loch Ness Monster, languages were not the same. It's not like here where a lot of people speak English or like Spanish, that would go through a whole crazy process of translation before they could even get the people to understand what the heck they were talking about. And then that had to be embedded in their culture, which is like, yeah, it's not possible. So the Loch Ness Monster and the Tahoe Tessie like basically simultaneously existed.
Mhm.
What?
That makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Well, because
So
I personally think that the Loch Ness Monster is kind of a hoax because, there's that one famous picture of like the head poking out of the water,
right.
right?
You should look up the Tahoe Tessie. It's very similar.
Yeah, but like the one picture that they use the most is so grainy, and now we have like all this new technology, high def cameras, scanning equipment.
Has anybody actually really tried to find the Loch Ness Monster
I feel like they do. I could
recently?
be wrong. I haven't gone hunting for the Loch Ness Monster recently.
Right. I haven't done research on it, so I don't know.
Huh. All right. Give me more.
Okay. The Wahoo tribe originally told the story. This is where to me it gets pretty interesting. But the tale was originally of supernatural water babies that live near Cave Rock.
What's a water baby?
I picture. Do you remember those like water baby toys
The
where you
water.
fill them with water? That's what I picture on
No.
accident.
No.
You didn't. Oh, right. You weren't a girl with dolls in the
No.
90s.
No,
It's a 90s thing.
oh, like Potty, what was her name? Potty Dotty?
I didn't have that, but this is
Oh,
like basically a base of a plastic doll. So like picture kind of like a Barbie, that just
yeah.
like the outside, and you fill it with water. So instead of being plastic, it would like jiggle.
Ooh.
But that's not what it is. There's
Fuck.
no description that I found of these water babies. They're just known as like supernatural. So maybe like
Like a spirit of the lake is a water baby?
kind of, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
The Wahoo healers would go to Cave Rock to consult with the water babies and bring offerings out of respect.
So the water babies were feared.
Yeah, they were feared. They could also make you sick and things like that. What I do find interesting is people commonly point out the fact that, like we just said, this sounds like a copycat
Yeah.
of the Loch Ness Monster. And then they say, like, oh no, this has been in the Wahoo tribe for like this long. Wahoo, it might be Wahoo. But their story was different. It wasn't of a sea monster. It was of babies that lived near Cave Rock that were like supernatural.
Okay.
So that is something I just want to point out to people because everybody is like, oh no, this is dates all the way back to Native Americans. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not telling the same story.
Okay.
Um, the Wahoo tribe, just to give a little background, is said to have come to Tahoe by the way of a coyote. It showed them the land and took them there. Archaeologists trace back the tribe to 2,000 years ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah. They had many other stories in their culture, like Tahoe Tessie, and one of them is a man-eating bird named Ong. Ung. I couldn't find the correct, like, it just said O-O, which could be ah or oo.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, but it's a man-eating bird named Ung that lived in a tree
Okay.
above Lake Tahoe.
Are there
Um, those are the two like main ones, but there's definitely more. Just to give a little history on the tribe.
led there by a coyote and a man-eating bird? But the
Right.
man-eating bird isn't a thing anymore. Only Tahoe Tessie.
Tribe still exists there.
Okay.
Though I'm willing to bet it is still a thing for the tribe. It's just Tahoe didn't lean into this really hard for tourist reasons.
Okay.
Yeah. The Tahoe Tessie resembles a serpentine monster, like we talked about, a long neck, snake head, and body of an eel.
Oh,
So
so
the creature is
it's not like the Loch Ness.
similar.
Okay.
Yeah, quite similar, but yeah, different variations.
Yeah, yeah.
The creature is said to be anywhere from 12 to 25 feet long, but I did find a sighting that the guy stated it was 600 feet long. But the standard is roughly in between 12 and 25 feet long.
600 feet. That's huge.
It is. Yeah. So when I was doing research on this and I looked this up, the first thing that popped in my head was the movie Water Horse. Do you
Water horse.
remember that?
No, I don't remember that one.
It's from 2007, in case you want to know. And it's based, I think it was in Ireland. I vaguely remember the boy having an accent, and it was like a little boy found a sea creature in the water, and he brought it into like
His house.
their, yeah. And it was like a little horse with fins and
Yeah,
like a long
it's
neck.
it's coming back to me.
Yeah. I had to
You're
Google it because
you're
I
tap
forgot. I was like, what
you're
was that
tapping
movie?
in.
Yeah. I even typed because I didn't know what it was called at all. I typed in boy that finds sea creature and I think like brings into his house movie.
And Google was like, I got you.
No, actually it took like three
Oh.
tries and then Google was like maybe
Did
maybe this one?
did you mean water horse? And you're like, yeah, that one.
Yeah. It's like wait, this only has how many stars? It's like it can't be this one. You want this one. I think like even like H2O, that old mermaid show popped up.
Yeah, they probably tried. I'm surprised Andre didn't pop up.
What is Andre?
That's the one where the girl has a seal.
What?
She like gets a baby seal and like she like sneaks him into like a warehouse shed thing and feeds him and he gets older and grows up and then
When is this movie from?
The 90s?
What was up with the 90s and early 2000s of like animals getting snuck into sheds?
And water, like Free Willy.
Yeah, I remember Free Willy.
So, I don't know. We just liked the water in the 90s. I don't know.
We still like the water now.
What do
You
we
know
have?
what? Huh?
What?
I was just gonna go on a small little tangent, but
Of
this
water?
year, yeah,
What?
it's
Water? What water?
I watched Aquamarine like a
Is that,
couple months ago.
but I'm talking about, but it's still an old movie, no?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
older.
okay.
Yeah, it's not quite as old, probably like 2012-ish, roughly. But I think that movie is super good. And people will probably make fun of me, anybody that knows this, but it's good. And I remember having the DVD and I watched how they made the tail for the mermaid, and it was cool.
I don't really remember Aquamarine.
I don't think it was super popular. I told like another group of people about this movie, and they were like, I never watched that. But
I
it was kind of a staple for me. So
I want to say I watched it, but I don't think it stuck.
it's got the singer JoJo, and then it has Emma Roberts, and
Emma
then
Roberts is what in it?
yeah, and then it's got this girl that plays Darcy in like a show that has the name Darcy in it. Oh, she was the person that took over Marnie in Halloween Town. So Halloween Town like 3 and 4.
Jesus.
It's whoever that girl is the mermaid. Anyways,
No. Yeah. Well,
hard long tangent. Back to the Tessie. The
back to the
first reported
Tessie.
the first reported sightings of the Tahoe Tessie were by European settlers and occurred in the 19th century, so I didn't write it down. Oops. The first sighting is noted by his initial is I.C. Coggin.
I.C. Coggin.
Yeah, yeah, I.C. Coggin.
Mm-hmm.
The
What's a
story
Coggin?
he the story he told was published in the Examiner.
Okay.
He claims the Tahoe Tessie was actually 600 feet long. And what is interesting is he tells the tale of a Tahoe Tessie actually chasing him through the forest, but it's supposed to have the body like an eel.
Leather like a snake after him,
When somebody says the word chasing, I'm thinking it has feet.
like
And some
flippers.
people, yeah, so some people have reported different variations of the looks, and some people have said that it has feet. Oh,
Uh,
yeah. Does this
uh,
creature maybe not live in just water as well? Did it take off into the forest next to Tahoe?
is it the baby version of the man-eating bird? Who
That checks
knows?
out.
Maybe it sprouts wings and it becomes a dragon.
So that's when I read that, I was like, this sounds like Pete's dragon, just behind you, but friendly enough not to eat you.
It
He
is-
said that he got away from it by hiding behind a pine cone tree. And I'm like, this thing is 600 feet, and you're telling me you were always at least the length of it ahead running?
he sounds like he was drunk.
A little embellishment, yeah.
Yeah.
He said people wouldn't believe him and his story,
Huh? Mhm.
but that a creature he like left with this little how do you ominous,
Ominous.
yeah, that a creature that large couldn't hide for long,
No.
right?
But then you're saying that the other ones say that it's like 12 feet to 25 feet.
Right.
So is it
So
shrinking as time goes on?
shrinkable Loch Ness Monster.
Tahoe Tessie.
Yeah. I well the variations. I tried to look up more information on IC Coggin, but everything you can find on the internet is really just tied to that story.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
because again, there weren't computers during this time, so you'd have to basically go searching through the archives in a book library somewhere. And I'm pretty sure to do that, I'd have to actually go through. It was printed in uh, the Examiner, so I'd have to go through archives of the Examiner, I
You have to do
believe.
that film thing where you have to like get the slide of the thing and put it in the projector. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about? What is that called?
yeah, and then go through projector
Uh,
archives. I
There's,
don't know.
I don't think that's what
They're
it's
just
called.
like
It's
they're
like a
just
screen, and then
yeah,
like you
they're like
slide the yeah.
pictures
What's
of
that?
it.
I don't know what it's called, but I remember using it when I was younger because we had to learn how to
Yeah,
do all that when I was young.
for what?
It
Before
was just
there was before
before the
computers.
internet,
Yeah, and they made us learn all of this stuff
the
that
Dewey Decimal System.
literally went away the second
Well,
the
I mean,
computers came out.
the Dewey Decimal System still does exist, and they still do have those things.
I wasn't including the decimal system, but I
I'm
mean
just,
a
but like there was like
projector.
yeah, but there was like literally a full on. I remember like a library class. Like this is how you find your library book. You take this and you put this in the bookshelf. So when you come back, you put
Right.
it back where you got it. I
I still like that system.
have trauma. Anyway,
Nowadays, I go into certain areas and I'm like, what the heck? This is on the same tangent of that, but do you remember those? They look like oculars, and
yeah.
you slide in the little disc,
Oh, the little
and it would do, yeah,
yeah.
and it would do like different images, and you could even get like movie ones. I think I had like a Tarzan one, and it was like images of like the Tarzan movie.
Old,
Yeah, it
old.
was, yeah, very old.
We're not even that old. I think it's just technology just moves so quickly.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
all right, give me more.
Another man, it's Jacques Cousteau, was he was an oceanographer who decided to investigate the scene. But when he came out of Tahoe Lake, he refused to speak about what he saw,
So we
and
saw nothing.
he just said the world was not ready for what he saw. There are some speculations that people think that he possibly saw a lot of dead bodies. Going on a little tour here, Lake Tahoe is said to have been a common place for mobsters to dump bodies.
That sounds
This is
familiar.
even it does.
Where do the
Um,
what lakes do the mobsters not like to dump bodies in?
there's gotta be one. Tell us.
Cherry up
Uh,
the mountain.
yeah, up too far.
Too far. We can't go
Pinecrest,
there.
probably.
I'm sure. No,
Pinecrest.
but they empty Pinecrest every year.
That yeah, but it's a lake.
Oh
There's
yeah,
one lake
perfect.
that
Bodies
mobsters don't like stuff.
bodies don't get dumped in Pinecrest.
Nope, not a selling point though. Like too
No
many
bodies
tourists at that
here.
lake, anyways. No, that there. That just reminded me of this real estate
Oh,
house. I'm sorry, so many tangents. It's night. I work at a camp now,
oh
and across the street there is a house for sale, and the marketing team
no,
for this house, but this house is not haunted.
not haunted.
And they put little signs of like no one died here. It's like other. I thought it was hilarious
That makes
every
me
time I
feel like
drove
they're
by.
lying.
Me,
I think
but
weird
for
stuff
me,
happens there now.
it made me laugh. So I don't care.
Promise,
Um,
not haunted. Anyway, sorry.
no, it's okay. Lake Tahoe. I did the tangent. Lake Tahoe is actually talked about in The Godfather Part 2 as a location where they dump bodies. Yeah, I'd have to see The Godfather to really understand why that's such a big reference, but it is
Huh.
pretty big. Yeah.
And wait,
Another,
what year did this show do his thing?
yeah, of course. That one was in 1970s.
Oh, that was in the 70s. Okay.
Mhm.
So they think that he came across like a mass grave.
Right.
Cool. Cool, cool, cool.
That's some speculations
Okay.
if the Tahoe Tessie is not real,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
We still have time to like change your mind. Mickey Daniels, a former Placer County sheriff, had gone fishing on a fishing rig and reported sightings and this occurred in the 1980s. He actually did an interview with the LA Times, and I have that linked in my notes. He talks about a huge wave occurring in the shape of a V. So
Like
like
something.
a head was
Yeah.
just underneath, not with the boat.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Like something
with,
big was swimming.
yeah. So he was saying it was like a head was creating a wave and should have came up. He said he never saw anything go above the water. Interesting, huh?
Huh. He was on a fishing rig. Because again, this
Right,
lake is thousands feet deep.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of folklore and legends have been created out of some sort of teaching method. So if you dive into any folklore or legends, like think about the
Baba Yaga.
what's that?
Baba Yaga. Isn't she
Yeah,
like a Russian witch or something? And she comes like eats children if they don't behave.
well, probably, but
Something like that.
what's the scary Santa Claus? The
The
cur.
Cinder no. What is it called? There's a whole there's
There's
a
even a movie, Tempest.
yes, the Krampus.
Yeah, so like that's to tell a s- story to keep children, you know, from doing bad things. So it is possible the Tahoe Tessie was originally told to keep babies, in my mind, out of the water.
Like don't go in the water because Tahoe Tessie might get you.
Yeah, well, the, to them it was actually supernatural water babies.
But so a water baby was gonna get a baby. So these weren't nice babies.
They could cause a poor fate to you, according to the Wahoo tribe,
Okay.
or they could also help you. So that's why they sacrificed
Sacrifice.
things to
Offering.
them. And when, yeah, they did offerings, they did, yeah, sacrifice sounds brutal. Offerings to them, they asked them for guidance, things like that. I think there's a possibility if those didn't exist, that it wasn't out of nothing. I
Uh-huh.
think there was a reason. I mean, there's a lot of fish, a lot of mammals inside of Lake Tahoe. They could grab on a hold of babies and like think even just like a large snake
Yeah,
could be in there.
yeah.
Um, the thing that is interesting is no one knows. No one actually knows if the legend is real. The Tahoe Tessie seems to have been embellished because the tale really gained popularity with the growth of tourism in Lake Tahoe. This was around the 1950s and 1960s. So if you even go back to Jacques Cousteau, that's in that time frame. Um, like after is what I'm meaning. So it's in there. But the first guy who claimed it was 600 feet and chased him out of the water, he wasn't within that time frame.
No, he was like way before.
Right. Um, with the gaining of tourism, a guy named Bob McCormick actually made a book about the Tahoe Tessie in the 80s. You can still buy this book today. And
Wow.
it looks like an 80s book. It's honestly, I might buy it. Looks pretty cool. Yeah, seriously, I think I might. It might be a cool story for William. We have a bunch of weird books like that. So like Farley Fart,
Oh God,
wherever. Yeah, it's
stop.
Farley Fart. A good one. It's about a frog that gets super big and he's full of gas and like farts all the time. And then he does a big fart and deflates. You can cut that out. I just think it's fun. Um, so what are some of the explanations that can explain the legend? Because there are some.
Oh really?
Yeah. So I should have actually learned how to say this, but periodolia is one explanation, and I might be saying that wrong. It's a psychocognitive phenomenon. So
Okay.
basically, the brain playing tricks on you.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
isn't that caused like usually under like distress of some kind?
can be, but this legend became really popular.
Okay.
Someone heard, it's possible people heard the legend
And then
and
the
then saw
brain.
something in the water, but the brain plays tricks
Yeah.
and made it bigger. Or so some debris. People have pointed out debris could float in Tahoe Tessie at nighttime, and maybe it just looked bigger, trick of the light sort of situation.
Okay. Okay.
Another one is something called a sturgeon. Sturgeons are ancient fish that date back millions and millions of years. Modern day sturgeons are bottom feeders, but they look similar to the description of a Tahoe Tessie.
What do they look
So
like?
they have like kind of head shaped like a snake. They're
Uh-huh.
very pointed.
Uh-huh.
So that does make sense. And then the body of them can get very long, kind of like an eel, but they do have fins.
Well, it's a
But they
fish.
definitely, right, but they definitely don't run outside of water.
They're not chasing you, and they're probably not going to be 600 feet long.
So if you look up a sturgeon, these it makes sense that this could happen, and they can get 20 feet and weigh 300 pounds.
That's huge.
Right,
I don't want that
right,
coming anywhere near me.
right. So they're bottom feeders,
Thank
which
God.
unless you're a wonderful swimmer,
Stay down there.
but
Mm.
it does say the modern day sturgeons are bottom feeders. So I'm under the impression that they were not always bottom feeders. They
Okay.
also get very large. So it's possible. And they live in fresh water.
So what's the most recent sighting?
Most recent sighting is so like yesterday probably. People are coming out with it all
No.
the time. But there's like fabricated images that are out there. It wasn't notable for me to put like I think actually the most recent was probably like 2001
Okay.
is that I read, but it was like a bartender that left work and was like, "Oh, I saw the Tahoe Tessie and stuff." And like the image, people have been like, "No, it looks like yeah." Um, so the fish do not, these fish, like the sturgeons, do
Uh-huh.
not develop to be that size anymore due to overfishing. They're not, it's actually people fishing other animals. They're not getting everything that they need.
Okay.
Bottom feeders, obviously.
So they're getting a lack of nutrition from other overfishing.
Correct.
Okay.
So this to me makes that a possible explanation as to why there has kind of also been a gap in sightings that seem kind of realistic.
Mhm.
It's being overfished. So the fish were once larger at a different time,
Mhm.
and now I was thinking even that guy might be embellished, but how do we know that they didn't get larger before this?
When there wasn't overfishing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like even much fishing at all.
Like it could just be like, don't go near the water because Tahoe Tessie's going to get you, but also it's a sturgeon that is freaking massive, weighs
Yeah,
up to 300 pounds. It's going to snatch you right out the water.
or more.
Yeah.
Yeah, or more. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So takeaways from this, the Tahoe Tessie is a legend that goes back to the Waho tribe. It has adjusted over time due to the sightings of the legend of Tessie dating back to the 19th century.
Mhm.
But whether there is some truth to the tale or not, no one knows. But it's a super fun legend in Lake Tahoe, and they've really leaned into it. And
I
it's cool.
I did not know. I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
there's actually little statues of the Tahoe Tessie, and now you'll see them. There's that local bar right on the corner next to all the shops, and they have the Tahoe Tessie like little statue there. I didn't know what that was. I was just like some weird animal they just to put in the
We made
middle
this
of the
up.
walkway. Yeah.
Okay.
Closing remarks. How do you feel? What do you
Um,
believe?
first of all,
Did we change your mind?
why is that lake so deep? That makes me uncomfortable. I will not be swimming in there ever. Like I
Like,
remember
why
doing,
is that not talked about more?
yeah, why do I just now know that Lake Tahoe ju- oh,
I have swam in there
yeah,
and I was just thinking like, oh, it's too deep for my feet.
yeah, or like when
Literally.
you go on like on a ski boat and you're like, oh, I fell in. Now I'm like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
fall in and get sucked down to the bottom.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And so Cave Rock is actually said to have tunnels in it. And the Tahoe Tessie is said to have lived in those tunnels, but
Okay,
that is no matter what, there's caves down there.
okay.
And
So
I didn't know any of this.
I don't know how I feel about Lake Tahoe anymore. Um, uh,
We just gamble there.
you can woo. I think so. After talking about it, I think that it was sturgeon that was massive, and over time it had gotten smaller. I don't think it was ever 600 feet, but I think that it could have been a really huge fish that from overfishing and all that just kind of got smaller and had to change its eating habits so that way it's not snatching kids off the shore like when they started the legend.
Right.
Because they could have been a lot. There could have been like a lot more of them eating babies.
They also, I don't think they eat babies,
I,
but
I
something
mean,
could have happened.
probably not. But I mean, if a baby did get snatched by a sturgeon, I mean, I could see them being like, "No, don't go
No
in there."
surprise.
Yeah. So
Or
I,
like sucked down even.
yeah, I think I don't. Just, we won't ever really know. It's just kind of like we don't really know about Bigfoot. So
Right.
like I don't like I want to say it can't be, but also the Appalachian Mountains are so treacherous and you know and also Pacific Northwest is very undisturbed. A lot of Canada very undisturbed.
Bigfoot would actually be a great one.
So actually I was
We should
thinking
do
about that
Bigfoot.
because there are people that are still to this day searching for him.
Yeah, I know
So
people.
so all right, you got anything else for me?
Yeah, so my takeaway, I also believe it could have existed, and sturgeons they're fish, so they procreate, which to me makes sense why we have seen them for so long and the
Mhm.
Tahoe Tessie exists. But why maybe there's not so many is because of overfishing. And then to me, another thing, it's too many people have seen the Tahoe Tessie. Decent explanations of it, like not just fake photos. It's too many. It's like you said, the Loch Ness Monster. There's like one main photo that people use. This is like not just a photo, it's like sightings being told. I feel the same about the Loch Ness Monster. I wonder if there's an explanation for
Yeah.
that.
Hmm.
I do believe there's been embellishment to create a fun story in the local area, but now it's celebrated and it's cool.
And it
I
drives
think
tourism.
they used to have like a Tahoe Testy like festival. I don't think they still have it. It actually would be occurring around, I think, this time of year.
That sounds like it would be a fall activity.
Yeah. Yeah, very cool.
All
And
right.
then all of my information, I have links to them that we can.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll get those and we'll link those in the show notes for people if they want to take a look. Um, so, we can. I'm going to look now.
Yeah, you should.
But yeah, well, thank you so much for joining us at That's Peculiar.
Yep, definitely was.
All right, and we'll be doing this every Friday with release dates. So stick around every Friday for something new.
Bye.